Welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Tour presented by our national sponsors, Viking and Uline. We are live at the Philadelphia Cricket Club on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Brad Eastbrook along with Mark Fischel and Lisa Rudloff, bringing you the men's round of 16 matches between the number 6 seeds Zachary Held and Ryan Baxter against Johan Durant and Stephen Mitchell. And after that, we're going to bring you the match between Max Pivert and Casey Watt against the number 2 seeds, Arraya and Mark Parsons. Sorry, the number 1 seeds, Arraya and Mark Parsons. Mark, what can you tell us about our players?
Well, this is just really a fun matchup, Brad. Obviously, having Johan Durant back on tour is great for all of us. You've talked numerous times about what an innovator he is in the game, and how much he's changed the game in the, I guess, 12, 13 years he's been playing. And he's partnering with Steve Mitchell, and we'll get a good look at Steve when the players take the court. Steve played tennis at University of Alabama, had a career-high 424 on the APT computer, so obviously a significant talent. And they're going to be playing against Ryan Baxter and Zach Held out of Indianapolis. Ryan has been a top 10, top 8 player for a while, usually plays with Ricky Heath. Played here last year with Zach Held and gave the number 1 seeds at the time, Arraya and Morneau, a real tough run for their money. So I look to see a real fast-paced shootout. You have 3 South Africans out there, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know how much of it we're going to get to see before the Parsons-Arraya match starts.
Yeah, we should mention actually the Arraya Parsons against Pivert and Watt match will start, like you said, in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because they had a tough go in their match, with Pivert and Watt being down 6-1, 5-1, and a couple of match points before they squeezed it out, 1-6, 7-6, 7-5. So the players on the court, we all know Johan Durant is a 3-time national champion. He's the best athlete on any court he plays. So it'll be fun to see him out here with a new partner, Stephen Mitchell. And he's an accomplished athlete as well, but he hasn't really been on this stage that often in platform tennis.
So just taking a look at them from right to left, that's Steve Mitchell in the black cover and the gray hat. He's on the deuce side, and then Johan Durant's got the gray hoodie. And at the net, you have Ryan Baxter with the white hat and Zach Held with the blue headband. Brad, you and I talked a little bit off air about Johan and what we expected to see. You want to talk a little bit about that, elaborate on the conversation we had?
Well, Johan has been, like you said, an innovator of the game. He and his partner, Mark Parsons, innovated the player at the net, the one-up, one-back formation, the floating eye they call it, where one player stays in the backcourt, the other roams freely at the net, and the other player basically gets every ball that goes behind. He either drives it back and lobs it. So his talent is undeniable. It's simply a question of what we see in terms of shot selection, and we've talked about in the past a shot clock. So I'm just, as you said, looking forward to seeing him compete again out here.
Also want to welcome Lisa Rudloff to the booth.
Always
a delight to be with Lisa, on air or off air. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. It's good to be here. This will be fun to watch. I've watched some of these guys play, Johan a little bit more, Durant, but I'll be a spectator myself, watching to see how they develop their points and see how the partnerships flow. So it should be fun.
Interesting to see Johan back in the backhand, where he first started to dominate the game.
Oh, absolutely. He's got one of the quickest release forehands in the game. He's got spin overheads. There really isn't any shot he has. He has touch, speed, all those elements. The question is how you use them.
Let's take a fast look at the draw and show you where these teams fit. So Baxter Helder, the 6th seed, one of those rare instances where Durant is the underdog, at least by the seedings. I'm not sure he's the underdog in the match. And the winner here will play the winner of the Pivert-Watt Arraya Parsons match, which sets up a potential Durant-Parsons matchup, which would be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. All these players have played against themselves, each other a number of times. Zach Held and Stephen Mitchell are really the kind of wild cards in the match here. We haven't seen quite as much of them. Zach Held's been sort of on the scene now for a bit. He's got incredible energy on the court. You know, he'll hit a lot of leaping rollers, attacking rollers. I think sometimes with him it's a little bit decision making, making sure he's hitting the right ball at the right time. He'll be going for it too soon. So I'm curious to see how these partnerships work out. Mitchell I haven't seen too much of. How about yourself?
Saw him a little bit last year in Chicago. Obviously has some impressive skills, but as we've talked about numerous times, Brad, it all comes down to decision making at the end of the day. I remember you giving a buddy a lesson, and what did you tell him? Sometimes you need to make 30, 40 good decisions to win a point.
Yep.
I think that was the day Joe Palestino quit the game, actually, Brad.
You don't want lights, correct?
Yeah, that's why I'm in the booth, Mark. That was a good decision, though. One of my better decisions.
Yeah, Ryan Baxter's a lot of fun to watch. He's very fast around the court. Ball just jumps off of his battle. And this should really be a highly entertaining match. I'm not sure how much we're going to get to see, but we'll be bouncing back and forth between the matches depending on the closeness of them.
Now, obviously, you can see from the screen, the weather, it's cloudy, and it's actually getting to be a little bit paddle weather, as they say out there. It's only about 45, 50 degrees at most. You know, it's a raw chill out there, which is quite a change from yesterday, Lisa, when it was sunny. The players were staying back because they could barely even see the ball on the women's draw.
Right.
Yeah, the women would like to have played today rather than yesterday.
It's great paddle weather.
Now, it'll be interesting to see, you know, Johan in the past has used that floating eye sort of formation where he'd be at the net as partner in the backcourt. I'm going to guess that he and Stephen Mitchell will play a more traditional style, both at the net.
Well, Durant is one of the few guys that serves and comes in on a regular basis. Most of the top players are mixing it up, staying back a little bit. Not Durant. Just a beautiful setup here at the Philly Cricket Club. Scott Valatek, director of platform tennis, and the tournament director has done a wonderful job getting it set up, and it's been a really good weekend so far.
All right, a couple more serves here and we'll be underway. Now, Ryan Baxter's one of these guys who over the years, he's got a big forehand, good game. He's been slowly but surely developing cut shots, cut winners. He's got a lot of things to offer on the paddle court. He's been close a few times, had a couple of epic wins a couple of years ago, you know, against Powers Hughes. Remember a 3-4 hour match.
7-6 in the third in the round of 16, the Connecticut Nationals.
Also one of the nicest guys out there.
I see him hitting a lot of those reverse spin serves to the deuce court. It'll be interesting to see whether that's a little gimmick in the warm-ups or he's going to really hit it. Okay, players getting ready. Chair umpire Andy Podolsky is introducing them.
Now, would you think at a day like today, I mean, it's bright out there, would you want the lights at all?
You guys have heard the spiel before, but I'm going to call out the score after every point. Obviously, on obvious calls, anybody touching the net, reaching over the net, I'd love it if you guys called it on yourselves, but I'll call those if I see those without asking. If there's any call disputes that you guys have, just do me a favor. Make a verbal question to me that's your question to call. Don't just look up at me and kind of, you know, look for me to kind of respond to it. Other than that, any questions?
Good affirmative intro by the umpire,
like
wasn't
that.
it? I need more of that. I like that.
It was great. It looks like Ryan Baxter to serve and Zachary Held at the net. And this will be Steve Mitchell returning the first serve. Johan Durant
in
the ad court.
To my right in the ad court from Carmel, Indiana, Ryan Baxter and his partner in the deuce court from Indianapolis, Indiana, is Zachary Held. To my left in the ad court from Wayland, Mass, Johan Durant. His partner in the deuce court from Natick, Mass, Stephen Mitchell. You guys are ready to serve? Start.
early on, Mitchell reaching for that high backhand overhead in the middle.
It's a nice
Johan.
tennis shot, but
Yeah. Johan was loading up to hit the slash.
We go first switch in the backcourt by Baxter and Held.
Love 15. all.
Good body serve there.
15 all, first game. Brad, how much do you think Durant's reputation plays into a match like this? I mean, how much belief do you expect to see from Baxter and Held?
You know, I expect Baxter and Held to be in there. They're not
30-15.
afraid competitors. They're going to be out there playing 100%. And in this case here, it's a new team, so you might feel like you have a place to go. The key is, though, you got to find those places where you can safely hit the ball on the court, and there probably won't be that many. So quick, Durant.
Surprised early on how many balls they're hitting to Durant.
And a few too many up-down overheads. Ooh.
40-30.
Yeah, I'd expect to see more balls into Mitchell's corner.
Yeah, you can see one of the things we talked about early on, you know, off of there, Mark. See Baxter staying back. Not trying to initiate the first volley against the Durant return.
I was impressed there that Mitchell didn't push coming to the net and waited for the ball, stayed back one more shot. And the good and the bad of Johan Durant on display right there, just playing a little bit too fast.
He tried to anticipate that drive by Baxter. Not close enough to the net, reaches across, makes the error.
And that is one of the things that's made him so special through the years. Have you ever seen a player with the type of anticipation and awareness he has, Brad? Other than yourself, of course.
Exactly. I anticipate really well from the chair.
Love 15.
But, you know, his ability to cut balls off at the net, you know, is exceptional. You know,
really
one of those
interesting
players.
that Mitchell's serving first.
Well, oftentimes it can be the guy at the net who helps the hold. So you got Durant at the net.
Love 30.
Loose errors.
40.
Oh,
Wow, what a one-time return.
off the backhand.
And there you see a little bit of Mitchell's indecision. He served, he only comes in a couple of steps. When that happens, somebody hits it hard, you want to let it go through to the back, just lob it up.
Oh,
I tell you, Baxter is bringing the heat off both sides.
that's what I was saying. The ball just jumps
15,
off
love.
his paddle. That was Parsons-esque.
30
Called.
love.
Called just wide. Confirmed by the umpire. He held, also not serving and volleying, staying back.
There's a little of that inexperience from Mitchell, not
40
moving to the
love.
middle
He
of the
needs to
court.
move over and back a half step there. Absolutely. Caught him off balance.
you see the signals that Baxter's giving Held.
What do you think he's telling him there, Lisa?
Well, First signal is where to go, where the serve should go. Second signal is where he's going, where he's going to stay
Game.
or go.
Baxter held leads.
So that was an
3 games
8-point
to love.
changeover. All 8 points to Baxter held, and they lead 3-love first set.
At this point, it seems as if like Mitchell and Durant are just, they don't have a plan or an idea of how they're trying to play. Baxter and Held clearly have a plan. They're serving, staying back. Definitely at this point, they're setting up Baxter way too much. Any ball they've hit in his corner, he's basically ripped it. They're not keeping the ball in the right spots on the court. See if they can right that.
15, love.
Ooh.
30, love.
Great serve from
40,
Durant.
love.
Was a great serve. Paddle, we know, is such a game of momentum. You don't want to, when you get up, you don't want to start making a couple of these mistakes. Let them back in.
Well, the sun just came out,
How about that?
and we're blind.
I mean, we're here in the booth, and that's
Oh.
incredible.
Would you question
Game,
that
Durant,
decision,
Mitchell.
I question both of those. I
Baxter
mean,
held
he's
lead,
taken
3
them one
games to
time, but the
1
ball's
in the
not
first
getting a
set.
chance to rise up above the net. Too tough a drive to make.
Ball just skidded in.
15, love.
A little too low for the drive there.
Seen Johan
30
make a
love.
lot of errors in the first 4 games. 3-1, 30-love. Array of overheads for Baxter
Yeah, he goes
and
from
Mitchell. And then Johan tries that little
40
flick
love.
backhand. Shot clock mistake, Brad?
I think it's a shot clock mistake, and it feels a little like a feeling out period. Like I said, they're going to have to come up to some plan or idea. I haven't seen Mitchell and Durant actually have one conversation about what's going on out here.
So that's 4-1 Baxter held. Brad, why don't you elaborate a little bit on the shot clock, which you and I have talked about the last couple of years?
Yeah, and it's this kind of thing where if something doesn't happen to a point at a certain time, he's going to make it happen, regardless of whether it's the right choice or not. A lot of balls in paddle should just be lobbed up back and wait for a better opportunity. Johan will sometimes take that opportunity without it really being there, just because he wants to make something happen, make the point more athletic. And it leads to a lot of errors. Some incredible shots, but a lot of mistakes.
Love 15.
Mitchell starts the 6th game with a fault.
15
There you go,
all.
Baxter moving way inside. He's tried to take 3 on the rise backhands off tough serves.
Firm.
Looking for some
15,
confirmation
30.
there was Durant.
It's interesting watching Durant at the net. He's so upright, plays so close to the net.
15-40.
They just don't seem to be. We just talked about they don't have a plan. They don't seem to. You don't see any intensity from them. You don't see any emotion from them.
Do you think Durant's trying to compensate for anything that maybe the lack of Mitchell's experience?
I don't see that, because I don't see him moving around, taking too many balls one place or another. I just see it.
Oh, great blitz. Baxter, he misses it.
30-40.
He is really trying to take that backhand early.
Yeah, right now, I wouldn't be playing that way. I think right now, just put a lot of balls in play. Let them make some mistakes.
Yeah.
'Cause they're making plenty of them.
Talk about Durant and Mitchell making plenty of mistakes,
Yeah.
right. Baxter shouldn't be giving them back. I agree with you 100%. Zach Held's playing to a roll out here. You haven't seen him hit. How many drives has Zach Held hit?
Really hasn't hit a hard ball yet.
Yep, he's just putting it up. He's looking to set up Baxter's big balls like that. Great shot, but just wide, but that's the right look.
And it's so important, Brad, isn't it, to have an awareness of what's going on the court? There's a big ball from Held. You know, when your opponents aren't playing well, you maybe play a little more conservatively, let them make some mistakes. There's a great lob from Durant setting up to open up the court, and then some confusion at the net.
Now Mitchell and Durant do live nearby one another. No idea how often they practice together.
Fault from Mitchell takes us to 5-1.
Yep. But there's definitely a lot of little things to work out in terms of those basic errors of positioning, shot selection.
Such a casual volley by Durant. He said it hit him, stopped play.
Love 15.
So it hit Ryan Baxter.
No, I believe it hit Durant.
It's love 15, though.
No, I think it hit Baxter running back.
Did it?
Just another loose error. And it'd be one thing if it were like a shot selection in a theme, but it's just a mistake at this point. And there's the first drive try that I've seen from Held in a while. He's just been being rock steady, keeping the ball in play. I'm not sure why they're not trying to find Held, place it to his backhand some more, try to play some longer points.
30 all.
Brings us to set point, 5-1, 40-30. We're going to find out how long this match has taken. I think they've been out there for about 14, 15 minutes.
15 minutes maybe, Mark? Yeah.
12 and a half minutes.
Nice volley there.
Corrected to 23 minutes.
Well, the umpire
warm-up.
announcement was very
It
long.
must include the warm-up.
It includes
I think
the warm-up.
that's 2-1.
Game and first set.
Wow. Well,
6 games to 1. Baxter Held. We have a
And
ball
there it
game.
is. All right, so let's see if they're using that as a warm-up set, but I'd like to see them have a little conference here.
Steven, you serving?
Okay, we'll be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
Give a little bit.
At Amazon, we've got millions of toys and games to choose from this holiday for kids of all ages, with free shipping on over 100 million items. So visit Amazon and give a little love this holiday.
Welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We are now switching over to the round of 16 match between our number one seeds, Mark Parsons and Juan Arraya, against the unseeded team of Max Pivert and Casey Watt, who just came off a ridiculously long and tough round of 32 match out there. So Mark, why don't you tell us who's on the court?
Well, let's take a quick look at the player bios, Brad.
And we got Max Pivert, who was a two-time Blanchard Cup winner, and his partner Casey Watt from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then we have Juan Arraya, who is also a Blanchard Cup winner, and his partner Mark Parsons. We're looking forward to a great match out here, Mark. I think this is going to be a barn burner. And the new team of Arraya and Parsons has only a couple of matches under their belt, and they're still trying to figure a few things out.
Yeah, so looking at the players on the court, you have Juan Arraya in the deuce court. kind of the gray hoodie. Actually, we're looking at it backwards. Okay, so that's Max Le Pivert in the white shirt, and his partner is Casey Watt playing in the shorts. And on the far side with the yellow paddle is Juan Arraya.
Watch your feet,
And then wearing the white cap and gray overshirt is Mark Parsons. So this is a little bit of a rematch, Brad. Juan and his partner, Jeff Morneau, played against Le Pivert and Watt in the round of 16 in Nationals, and what might have been the match of the tournament. They saved, I think, 3 match points in the second set before winning 7-5 in the third, in just a spectacular match. And in that match, Le Pivert and Watt played very slowly. I mean, that's the word in the street when you're playing against Arraya, that you just have to slow the play down. So I expect to see some of that today. Your thoughts?
Well, they played very slowly, Mark, but they also were very, very quick to attack, meaning they lob. But Le Pivert and Watt are very fast, so they're looking for blitz opportunities and quick strikes, but they're not going to go for the wrong ball. They're going to try and keep playing a long point till Parsons and Arraya make a mistake they can try to capitalize or blitz on.
Now, do you expect to see some of the one-up, one-back that we've seen so much of from Parsons and Durant over the last couple of years, as well as from Arraya Morneau?
Oh, I absolutely expect to see that from Arraya and Parsons, and not so much from Watt and Le Pivert. For sure, I think that's the idea with the Arraya and Parsons team. Mark Parsons hits the ball off both wings, forehand, backhand. Araya's explosive at the net, cut overheads. He's got one of the best volleys in the game. So the idea would be for Arraya to be able to dictate and dominate at the net, and any ball that goes through, Parsons can drive it back.
Walk me through some of the challenges, Brad, of one up, one back, because we saw a lot of it in the women's final today.
The challenges are, for the backcourt team and the team that's doing the one up, one back is making the right choices. Arraya is going to be looking to cut off balls and dictate at the net, but he can't make bad choices and reach for a ball that's not there for him. He's got to let it go through for his partner. And for the backcourt team, the challenge really is not to get unnerved by the tactic out there and stay with your game plan. We saw in the women's final that the team of Cruz and Warner really was completely at a loss as to what to do. And you and I discussed off air that maybe they should just lob and play long points the way they normally would, whereas they kept trying to drive the ball around the net player each time. So we'll see how the players adjust.
Lisa, have you seen a lot of the one up, one back? I mean, I know you were involved with the women's final. It was an interesting match to commentate on.
Right, it was an interesting match to commentate because it's not really a common formation that the women do. So when Jerry and I were watching this match, we were a little confused. We didn't really know where to look, where to focus. And I think that's what Warner and Cruz felt.
Just think about it so I don't have to
I think
say
it's
anything, okay?
it's a great strategy when you have the drives from Liz Cruz and you have Annika's Van Starrenberg's drives. I mean, it's such a great strategy, and I think we're going to see more of it in the women's side, seeing how successful Van Starrenberg and Hanisch were. I know the men have done this for a while. Why the women haven't picked up on that, I'm not too sure. But it was really fun to see, but I think a little confusing for Cruz and Warner.
So Cruz, Warner, and the announcers were all confused.
It was a little, it was tough to follow.
There's some other great quarterfinal round of 16 matches we also have on. We just came from where Heldon Baxter won the first set 6-1 against Durant and Mitchell. We also have Burish and Stojsavljevic against Frazier and Lofgren as one of our other round of 16 matches. And then the other round of 16 match of Estes and Stulak against Chervinsky and McNerney. We got Bredberg and Le Pivert.
Bredberg and Lefevre.
Lefevre.
I'm sorry. Bredberg and Lefevre against Falatek and Nidek, the hometown boys here from Philadelphia.
Looks like the players are making their final clothing alterations before getting ready. What do you think of those blue sunglasses, Lisa?
Little distracting.
I'm going to give them a big thumbs down.
Yeah.
They pick up the green in the ball. I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But fashion-wise and the look, you're not digging it. Yeah, Arraya making a statement though.
I think Arraya is second only to Wilkinson in some of the ugly clothing he wears. Nobody can really compete with George Wilkinson on that front.
Yeah, he's gone over the top a few times.
That's another round of 16 match.
It's like
Assuming
Arraya
they made
and
it through.
Arraya and Parsons are trying to figure out their game plan.
And these guys have been friends for a while. When Parsons was at Nursing, Arraya was at the Westchester Country Club, so really right next door. Parsons doesn't practice a lot, but when he did, it was with Arraya.
On my right, Juan Arraya, Mark Parsons. On my left, Max left, Pivert, Casey Watt, Mr. Parsons to serve.
Pete Pajaka, chair umpire. Parsons serving first. Unusual. Do you think the physicality of their last match is going to come into play, Brad?
You know, for Le Pivert and Watt,
15
I
love.
think they're in great shape, and they're both elite athletes. I don't think it will. In fact, in most ways, I think it's actually a good thing to have a tough scare like that and to come through it okay. I think they'll be actually tougher for it this match. How do you see this one, Mark?
You know, it all breaks down to Arraya Parsons. Are they going to be a team that's going to compete for the Nationals, or are they going to struggle? They have not played well yet this year, but it's obviously very early. Arraya in particular hasn't played well. Lost in the finals of the Patterson to Scott Kaler and Graham McNerney. Lost in the singles. These guys lost in the semis, a paddle player.
A little confusion there between Parsons
Good
and
cutoff
Arraya.
speed there from Watt.
Fraser Lofgren up 3-2 first set over Boris Stojsavljevic. And Durant Mitchell with a better start to the second set, up 2-love there. Scores from our reliable sideline reporter, Timo Arraya.
Oh, what a stab volley
15
there by
off.
Le Pivert.
Little lucky. I like that they didn't apologize, though.
Never apologize.
Never apologize. I'll keep that in mind next time my fiance argues with me.
15-30.
Now, Casey Watt's got a great backhand, very reliable, very offensive.
Very flat.
Yep.
We have maybe the two best backhands in the game,
Two of them.
and
Yep,
they're
for sure.
completely different.
Forehand, a little less reliable from Watt. If you have to go to a place, you would definitely want to go there. He can make it, but it's spotty.
And you'll see them trying to baiting him into hitting it. A lot of soft balls to his forehand, asking him to hit it.
Yep. And what you're seeing right now, actually, from Le Pivert and Watt is a bunch of low lobs, not the high lob variety. Low lobs looking for a down-up overhead that they can pounce on if they can. That's great balls at the creases and nicks, easily handled by the backcourt team of Le Pivert and Watt.
I noticed Arraya that liked the blue sunglasses as much as we did. 3 points and they're gone.
30 all.
I think he's using them on one side of the court, perhaps.
Wouldn't this be that side?
I think so.
Maybe Araya's confused about where the sun's coming from. He does come from the southern hemisphere, and maybe it's on the other side of the southern hemisphere.
Oh, wow, what
Almost
a get
knocked
there.
him over.
And that's what Mark Parsons does well as anybody in the game, drive that ball off the back wire.
So we really haven't seen him use the one up, one back, floating high formation yet, Ryan Parsons.
Well, that overhead from Arraya barely made it over the net.
Just long.
40-30.
40-30, first game.
I feel like this game went as long as the first 4 or 5 in the last match we were calling. Ryan Pivert really will look to use their speed.
Arraya Parsons.
So
Game,
Pivert
Arraya.
and Watt will
1-0,
really look to use their
first
speed
set.
out there today. You know, quick low lobs, a lot of quick forays to the net.
Okay, Casey Watt to serve. Love 1, first set. Here's one of the big changes, Brad. Seeing Arraya play the deuce court, which he did a little bit with Morneau last year.
15
There
love.
was a time he wasn't as comfortable, but he's good over there as well. He's, you know, in my mind, the best player not to win a national at this point.
15 all.
I think that was a fault. You said Arraya Pivert a minute ago. And it's interesting because they've played
30,
together for a
15.
year, and I know they're planning on playing Chicago Charities together as well. You do tend to think of them as a team.
Nice hit serve.
30
Yeah, we're going to
all.
find this year a lot of new partnerships on the horizon on the APTA Grand Prix circuit.
Great volley
30,
from
40.
Pivert, but Watsy misses a volley you wouldn't expect him to miss.
First break point, and there it
3
is.
faults that
Game.
game.
Arroyo Parsons.
Yeah, in Arraya
They
and
lead
Pivert,
2-0,
you have two guys
first
that
set.
move exceptionally well at the net, always presenting their backhand volley, and sometimes it looks like people are aiming for their battle, but that has to do with their court positioning. Not great body language from Casey Watt very early on.
Well, he's a fighter and a perfectionist, and he can't be happy with that game. 2 faults, missed volley.
I think 3. Great blitz from Watt there.
Love
He left his
15.
teammate hanging.
Pivert hitting a diet of probing drives with lobs to move his opponent up and back. Never taken a hard one.
And there they are switching in the backcourt.
Give the net team a different look.
15 all.
Ryan's got to be careful he doesn't hit too many of those down-up overheads like that one.
Yep.
30
Tends to
15.
fall in love with that shot. Almost paid for it there.
Definitely has to, and I think Pivert's got to watch a few of the dinks. Yeah, he's gonna get him deeper off the net, but that dink really works. Great get.
So Arraya lets that ball through, baiting them to follow it to the net. Then it's the drive and comes forward, trying to get it, accelerate the pace of play. Why don't you talk a little about that, Brad, and which team wants to play fast and why?
You know, absolutely.
40,
Arraya
15.
is one of the best, what I'll call transition players in the game. Meaning when the point is moving up and back and he gets to move forward into the net, He loves to get into hand-to-hand exchanges, which will benefit him. He wins most of them. And, you know, Watt and Le Pivert are definitely not going to try and get involved in those with him. They're going to take their time getting to that and only get in when they have the advantage. If Arraya is hitting a ball from high and they're coming in, he's going to hit it down, and they're going to volley up, and he's going to be able to have an opportunity to put away the volley. So they're smart enough to stay out of that. They want the pace slower. Arraya wants to move it faster and into more transition.
Well, the Pivert Watt look really sluggish to start. Don't you think so, Lisa?
I do. Well, it could be a factor of the match that they had before, and you said that they're in great shape, but I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of time to get them into this match.
Love 30.
Well, if it takes too much time, we're going to be changing courts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a sloppy start.
That's 5 faults in the
A lot of-
first service game, first 1.5 service games. Wow.
6.
Game Arroyo Parsons. They lead 4 games to love. First set.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better start for Parsons and Arraya.
Durant Mitchell up 3-1 in the second set. Balatek Nijek lost the
15
first
love.
set 6-1. No. We're going to get that score later on.
Timo's on the job.
30 love.
Boy, it's just going way too fast right now.
It is.
I expect to see Le Pivert Watt kind of go into a bit of a shell these last couple games of the set. Just slow and play down. And to me, it's not about whether they win this set. Just coming back and playing some competitive points.
Yeah, we talked about that a bunch of times. You know, you just want to get a foothold in, have some points go in the pace you want them to go, the right way. And Arraya is a great front runner. The more he rolls, the better he gets, the more confident he feels. They're going to have to stem this.
Wow.
That's a great shot there.
Not too far back.
30-15.
So if they can compete, play some longer points, get the pace they wanted to play at, that would be a good goal for Watt and Le Pivert at this point.
And that point they won at 30 love is not the tempo they want to be playing. So you look at a shot like that from
40,
Casey Watt,
30.
you kind of wonder why.
Yeah, the why is he saw the line open, but if you're backing up and falling away from the ball, there's no point in hitting it anyway. The best he could have achieved there is driving it down the line where Parsons is going to drive it right back at him. So there's just no point in the shot. Just not in the rhythm yet. You have to wonder, we didn't get to see any of their first match. If their struggles were, you know, it could be their opponents played great, or it could be they're just out of sync. They don't have it together yet.
It's funny, last year their first tournament was at Short Hills, and they played very poorly. They got pounded in the 32s, and then they played well at Nationals. We haven't seen Parsons aiming for the nick like he normally does with that hard roller. Surprised by that, Brad?
I'm surprised he hasn't done it at all, but in the past couple of years, people have been on to it a little bit, and I don't think he's gained as much from it. It used to be that he'd start the point, go at the nick, and people would struggle, and that would speed up the point for his team. But people are blocking it so often now and getting a good drive off it that he hasn't had as much kind of, you know, success with it. So I think mixing it in and using it sparingly is a better idea, taking it out of the bag once in a while, and that is a main strategy point.
Deuce.
Just get those blue sunglasses back on, Juan.
Yeah, definitely blaming the sun for that miss was Arraya.
4-1 Durant Mitchell in the second set.
Nice.
They found their way.
That's another error.
And out.
I tell you that when your opponents are not playing well, the one thing you don't want to do
It's a great pickup.
is get them back in by making a bunch of errors.
Which is exactly what Arraya Parsons did that game.
Game La Pivert Watt.
And they're on the board.
Arraya Parsons lead the first set, 4-1.
They kind of donated that game from 30 love, didn't they?
Yep, and this is where you have to watch out for the 3 to 4 game run going the other way. It's such a tricky thing to start off 4 love. Everything's going so well, so you start to think, well, I can take a few more chances or a few more risks here because we're up so much. Then all of a sudden you lose your way in what you're doing on the match. You've made a couple of bad choices, you make a couple more, your opponents get a few, little life. Then they start to play a little better, tighten it up, and all of a sudden it's a complete reversal. I hate to say, I played a match the other day on Wednesday night, lost the first set 7-6, then won 10 games in a row, and then lost.
Oh.
I'm sure it was your partner's fault.
I'll apologize to Scott.
So their watch just pushes the ball in the box. Interesting. Leads you to believe he had some serving issues in the first match, possibly.
Yep.
Here they are playing really slow.
But it is a good adjustment, Mark.
I like it.
Great hands there from underrated hands on Parsons.
Yeah, his volleys aren't pretty, but boy, they're good.
Wow, what a dig.
A couple of questionable down-up overheads from Parsons Durant. They've had a lot of them.
Yeah, we keep mixing the teams up here. We got Parsons, Arraya,
Yeah.
Le Pivert.
Oh, what a shot from Le
Wow.
Pivert.
15 love.
That's a good ball right there.
Yeah. Play.
Maybe we'll see a replay of that spike from Le Pivert.
It takes a lot of great teamwork to work that out. You know your
15 love.
partner's moving forward, and you have to cover him behind if he doesn't get that overhead spike.
Boy, another
15
questionable
balls.
overhead from Arraya. Gets away with it.
Actually overplayed that one a little, Watt did.
At some
Wow.
point, Arraya
15,
played
30.
it.
Yeah,
That
nice
pickup
spin.
off the Le Pivert volley was really impressive. What a dig.
Dig.
There it is again.
Yep. Haven't been burned too many times yet. So far they're getting away with it. Oh,
15
great
40.
look. Just doesn't execute.
Yes. Game.
All right.
Arroyo Parsons. They lead the first
Too
set.
fast from Le Pivert Watt.
Well, they tried a different strategy there with Watt just pushing it in and Le Pivert trying to cut off the volley. But again, that's that transition game that Arraya loves so much.
Yeah, I like Watt pushing the serve in, but I think they've got to stay back at that point.
Yep, that's what I think.
Maybe we get a replay of Parsons going up in the air there.
Very athletic move.
Love 15.
So Falatek, Nijek are up 4-1 in the second set. First set to Bredberg, Lefevre. And Durant, Mitchell are up 5 love in the second set after losing the first set. Maybe Durant, Mitchell are camera shy.
Could be.
Seem to have played much better once we weren't watching.
There's only one way to find out. We can move it back there and see, but way to right the ship over there. Interestingly enough, in that match we saw, though, it was really a donated first set from Durant and Mitchell, but you did see glimpses from Baxter of when they were up taking some really questionable choices.
15-30.
15-30. And similar to Durant, you've seen Arraya kind of pushing the envelope a little bit as they've made him play some long points. The drop shot he missed at love 15 was a highly questionable decision. Switching in the backcourt.
That's a great cut overhead. Nice dig there from Watt.
Gate comes open. Players don't realize it yet.
It's wide open. They're going to play a lead.
I don't think they
I
saw
don't
it.
think they did.
No.
15-40.
How about that?
Fraser Lofgren win the first set over Boris Stoyasavlovich, Brad.
You know, that's going to be a tough one for Boris and Stoyasavlovich. I believe they lost 4 times to Fraser last year. Or Boris and a partner lost 4 times to Fraser last year. So right now he's had Boris's number so far.
Casey Watt's probably wondering why he followed that backhand into the net. Can you help us with that, Brad?
Yeah, he's wondering because he got hit with the ball. He got a high one in there. You think you have the advantage because you drove it through, but you really don't. The player with the high ball has the advantage.
And again, that's what you were talking about, the transition game and how good Parsons and Arraya are at it. Watt is so good at digging the ball up. Just a tremendous athlete.
I like that we have Pivert on the other side. I'm liking that switch up.
That's tough. Nice. Well
Some
done.
point.
Deuce.
Hey, Brad and Lisa, why don't you guys both talk a little bit more about the transition game, which is such a integral part of the sport right now.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, well, the transition game, you know, is basically what you're going to use, you know, whenever the ball's going through and you're letting it play off the back, you know, the back screen, and you can drive the ball back. And I find it's one of the level definers between teams. You know, the better teams have a little bit more of a transition game. Some of the teams that are very good but not quite there, they lack that element, the ability to, when the ball gets driven through, to be able to move back, drive it right back, and basically retake the net without ever losing it, even though the ball got through your team. And it's really one of the elements that is important to practice, I think, for all teams out there now. And Arraya is definitely one of the best in transition in the game. He's always best when he's moving forward, attacking. If you get him back there and you can pit him in the back, that's where he might make a few questionable decisions. When he's moving forward or able to take a ball, drive it off the screen and come forward, extremely dangerous.
Deuce.
Good blitz from the Pivert, but misses the volley.
Hitting that volley underneath the net is a tough thing to do.
I feel like Le Pivert and Watt have a style they want to play, but they haven't figured out like how to do any damage. It's all dinks, how many drives have they really hit or tried to drive through their opponents or attack? You know, it's all dinks with a little blitz, but so far no real, you know, success in any of it. And they're trying to play lower lobs, looking for the down-up overheads. They're getting a few, but every look they've had, they've been unsuccessful for the most part. Called out by Watt.
Ball is overruled by the chair umpire. Brings us to set point.
Add in.
We haven't seen too many of those signature Casey Watt backhands.
I think maybe one. Yeah. There's a transition game and evidence right there. You see Max Lepivert electing not to even bother to come in against Arraya's transition shot. Some good seamless switching at the net there.
Parsons catches the nick. Game in first set, Arraya Parsons, 6 games to 1.
6-1, new ball.
Be right back in just a moment after these messages right here in the APTA network presented by eNet Live.
When it's your job to protect the world's greatest nation, it's your responsibility to solve the world's greatest challenges. This is why we search for the best and brightest, why we train for every eventuality, on land and water, in the air, space, and even cyberspace. We operate in a complex world with one simple mission: win.
Here we have some spectacular play from the first set. It's a replay of the great spike from Lepivert. There's Parsons jumping over the ball for a great get. Okay, welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We're in the second set of this round of 16 match between Arraya Parsons and Lepivert Watt. Max Lepivert to serve. First game, second set.
Looked a little wide to me.
That's a tough
You gotta call it.
It's a tough call by the umpire. They had to overrule that.
Lepivert is one of our great sportsmen. He calls it good.
Now here are these crucial moments. See if Lepivert and Watt can get a good
15
start in
all.
this set. And that bodes well for him if Arraya is going to take a leaping, running forehand flying to the side screen.
He and Parsons are laughing about that shot.
Brad, what do you think
15-30.
Lepivert and Watt have to do to get back into this match?
Well, I'll throw one thing in to start with. Get their serves in the box.
That would be helpful. You know, we know Lepivert's had a problem with that pass and Watt. They both had a problem with
Their
that.
serve game.
And they got to start taking care of that service game for sure. And then in the backcourt, you know, they're working this low lob, you know, looking for the blitz ball, but no success. I'd go for some higher lobs and look for some strikes, you know, and see if we can change it up a little. It's good to stay with your plan, but when you're not having any success, it's not a bad idea to move it around a little bit. You know, the danger with the high lobs with a guy like Arraya is if you hit a higher lob and it is short, he cut finishes it, and he has time to set up. With the low lob, he doesn't have as much time to set up the cut finish. So you haven't seen really any Arraya cut finishes in that first set. That's a good thing, but you still lost 6-1. Oh! I am surprised Watt stayed up there that long. I would have been long gone on that one.
Hiding behind the gate, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good time when you should transition back, play it off the backcourt, you have a better chance hitting a good shot off the screen there than you do trying to volley that ball. That's a nice close in anticipation by Le Pivert.
Really a big moment in the match for Le Pivert Watt.
Gotta have a good start, gotta compete.
Game, La Pivert, Watt, they lead the first,
Miss hit
second
volleys
set.
helped them win that
1 game to 0.
Yep. I mean, but there's a couple of questionable choices. You know, I was talking about with Parsons the other day, you don't drive balls from under the net when you don't have advantage. He tries that short drive there. You had an Arraya hitting a flying drive to the screen, so good start there, but a couple of questionable choices on Arraya Parsons.
Okay, so one Arraya to serve. Second set, love 1.
Le Pivert taking little half volleys, probing in the middle of the court, trying to move forward when he can. But here he goes. There's a good lob.
That was a rip.
Yep, great there. Oh, much better point
Long
from Le
15.
Pivert and Watt there. Long point. Finally gets Arraya to hit a, basically a smash overhead to the back screen to try to create something. Then they take the net with control. And end up with an error there. Arraya a little quick to the trigger.
It's a great pickup.
That backhand slash that he was so effective with last year, he hasn't been able to find yet this year. So Bredrilic and Lefebvre. Faltek Nijek split sets. They'll go in 3.
Hometown boys. I'm sure they're getting a lot of hometown support.
Great transition play from Arraya. Took that ball low and jumped it up. Oh, Le Pivert was in perfect position to win that point and misses the volley.
That was actually a good play, though. I'm okay with that.
Again, longer points, and it's been going their way.
Do you teach your women, Brad, that little half volley from inside the service line, your D6 women?
Absolutely. That's the first thing we do, Mark. Then we move on to getting the serve in the box. The other less important things. Yeah. Without the half volley from the midcourt, it's incredible skill to hit that shot. All the players have gotten so good at reading that spin overhead now.
Up, over.
15-30.
I think Parsons would have apologized if he'd had hit Le Pivert there. Clearly there was intent.
That was totally intent. But seeing a lot better things going on here from Le Pivert and Watt. and a little bit of a danger zone for Arraya Parsons in a couple of errors or fast overheads. They're getting the points a little longer now. Love that overhead, third wire smash.
The bow's going wide.
That's where Arraya's
That
ridiculous.
one we got to see a replay of.
Brad, what other men on the tour have a shot like that?
There are only a few guys who can do it. The guys who can do it as easily as
30,
Arraya,
40.
basically, he's probably the best. You know, Mark Powers can do it. You know, George Wilkinson can do the backspin cutter, but like that off a regular ball, he's probably the best for sure.
Amazing get off the nick from Watt. 30-40. Opportunity to get up an early break.
Right, holding his overheads, almost faking the cut overhead. That's a great quick lob. That's a good look. Now we get to the transition, but nice
Game.
play.
La Pivert, Watt, they lead the second set 2-0.
Patience.
Arroyo,
patience
Parsons
plays.
won the first set.
Yep,
6
patience, and he
games to
didn't
1.
overhit that drive in the transition ball. Didn't come off the screen quite as much. Not quite as easy there for Parsons, and he nets it. Now, Mark, I used the term, quick lob before. How, which refers to pace, how big a deal do you think pace of play is and pace of the points?
I think it's huge, Brad. I think it's right in the money. Pivert was taking those balls early, not giving him time to set up. And that's helping them play slower by playing faster.
Uh-oh.
Love, 15.
Might have to explain that a little further.
Yeah.
So by taking the ball early and pushing that lob in the air, not giving him time to set up and hit the big overheads to create this spin, they're unable to speed up the pace of play.
Now look at the formation here from Watt and Le Pivert. You see Watt up there. They go into a basic I formation. Watt scrambling at the net, trying to cut the ball off, and Le Pivert backing him up. Good change of tactics.
Durant Mitchell up 3-love, third set, and they are rolling.
What a change.
That's
Brilliant
Great
lob.
lob. And a great dig there by Watt. Oh my goodness.
Tremendous athleticism on display, huh?
We said earlier how fast Le Pivert and Watt are. They're using it here. See Arraya dictating this point, but Le Pivert and Watt are hanging in, able to make the digs. Oh, the lead cord winner.
15.
They need a little luck.
No a late
No
apology.
apologies.
Should have
Oh,
been
that's
no
big.
apologies.
No apologies.
40-15.
I remember years ago, it was fun. I was playing a match against Gambino and Ulmer, our national champions, and they're out there practicing right beforehand.
40,
And they're hitting the balls
30.
really close to the net, missing few. And what are you guys doing? We're practicing let chords. Oh, okay. Well, if you perfect that, I imagine we're all going to have a hard time out there. And I don't know that they perfected it, but they were a hell of a team. Wow.
Game,
How about that?
All right.
Pivert, Watt. They lead the second set.
Turn
3
of
games
events.
to love.
Okay, we're going to take a look at that replay of that amazing shot we just saw.
There's the cutter. See, and
Such
that shot
anticipation.
right there, his ability to cut under the ball, makes it very difficult for your opponent to hit a 3/4 pace or half pace drive there. And therefore it takes away one of the shots from, the teams back there. So it makes it, well, Casey Watt's not going to hit that 3/4 drive the next time.
Okay, Parsons to serve, love 3, second set.
Oh, great move.
Oh, great dig.
That's too good.
15 love.
It's a great dig. He didn't feel like he had the offensive volley with the blitz. If you don't have it, you should lob it high. You got to have some time to get back. See, Pivert looking for that blitz again. You see his court positioning inside the court. Looking for the dink and blitz. Now he's going to bail out a little, but still standing inside the court.
$15
I
all.
think that one was wide on the
I think it
on
was
the
two, but
sideline, and
it wasn't called, so play went on. Arraya missed the lob.
oh,
Again, Pivert inside the court, looking to take the ball early, looking for blitzes.
Seeing he and Watt have just taken the errors right out of their game.
And the faults. There we go, backhand from Watt. I don't think I've seen him only hit 2 backhands, though, in a set and a half.
Wow.
I kind of think it's a smart play, though. Feel like he had a good shot, just bail. Now you see how Watt and Pivert have switched it.
Correction, the ball was good.
Ball was good.
okay.
Called out by Arraya. I love those shot selecting choices, and I
15
love how
15-30.
Watt and Pivert are changing their strategies in the middle of that point right now. You see that ball going, and then you see Watt on top of the net and Pivert behind, so they're actually giving them different looks. This is great.
Oh,
Oh,
30 all.
he had that. Just missed it.
Good move.
Yeah, great move.
takes a lot of talent to do what he's doing in the middle of no man's land.
That's one of the areas that speeds up the play. If you can take that ball early, pick up the lob quickly.
Is anybody getting that ball?
Umpire asked a very important question.
Is anybody getting that ball? Because We don't. We need it.
Where is it?
We need it to play.
Lisa, you want to go
Yeah.
grab that?
I'll be right back.
Jerry, are you getting that ball?
We have a ball.
There we go. Oh,
30-40.
just
Those are the
few
types of
loose errors
mistakes
here.
that
Yeah.
kind of crept into their game.
Yep.
Ball control.
Yep. It's controlled backhand. Love that
That's
lob
a
and the
great
move.
lob, that cross-court lob.
See how these top players can move seamlessly between
Yeah.
one play and another. That's not the right move.
Game, love, Pivert, Watt.
It's a great,
They need
great
the second
play.
set.
Great
4
start
games
here.
to love. Love 15. Love 30. Love 40.
Oh, it's had the air is dried up, but there's 3.
$15, 40.
Oh,
tough
it's
one.
a loose game.
Game, Arraya,
Brad.
Parsons.
Why? They just played
La
4
Pivert,
really
Watt,
solid,
lead the second
really
set,
good games.
4
Then they're
games to
just
1.
all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're throwing an absolute stinker.
You know, I mean, I'd like to say it never happens, but it happens so often that you always have to wonder about it. There's got to be something to the psychology of getting up 4 love and then playing a loose game. It's as if you've lost track of what you've done to do, to get there to begin with, because you've built a comfortable lead, and we all know how it can just turn right around again.
And can you define comfortable lead for me in a platform tennis
well,
match?
the point is that we're making
Yeah.
really is there is no comfortable lead.
That's exactly
you have
right.
to keep playing the way you played, and you have to continue on without making mental errors, and some of those are just mental errors.
And
Well,
the
that's what it
interesting thing
comes
is
down
they're.
to.
Go ahead, Lisa.
No, it's what it comes down to is the mental side of this game that is very difficult. Obviously, they had to turn this set around. Took some brain power to do it. I think sometimes you get that lead and you just kind of get back on your heels a little bit too much. And it's,
The other thing that's interesting is all games are not equal. And if you lose a game when you played a lot of smart shots and you lose a game, then so be it. But losing a game that way is the way you turn momentum around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% there. The only thing I can say really in the players' defense on this stuff is they're also talented. There is some measure of calculated risk that goes
Wow.
on when you play these shots.
We got to
Maybe
see
a
that
replay
get
on
from
that.
Casey Watt.
And
See
sometimes
replay
you
of
just
that.
lose track of that. This is exactly the formula. If they can extend these rallies, drop the errors, Le Pivert and Watt, and then get their blitz opportunities, that's what they're looking for.
it's a nice
The ball's
lob.
going to hit Arraya.
Great. Lets it go through his legs.
Oof.
Oh!
15, love.
Great
that up well.
anticipation. He knew Arraya was going for that. He
Point,
had
15
it.
love.
Tremendous point.
Yeah, a couple great gets. Great transition play.
But Le Pivert's lobbing has really turned this match around, hasn't it?
His lobbing combined with moves behind it. It's not a one-shot deal for him.
30 love.
Looking to lob and then take a quick strike blitz on a down-up ball.
Looks like Durant, Mitchell are through.
Wow, that's a
Great turnaround from
turnaround.
them.
Yeah.
He's already there. He knows beforehand where that ball's going. Whoa.
40
Uh-oh.
love.
We lost Le Pivert there in the corner.
Yeah, both those guys
good.
weigh about 130 pounds. I don't see any damage
They'll
coming.
be okay.
Yeah, come
Well,
on.
we would have gone through the screen.
Brad and I had
No.
collided.
Right, exactly. Still be falling at this point. Yeah, that's not funny, Lisa.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, Parsons watched that one anxiously.
Remember when Max took a bit of a header? Where were we in Connecticut last
Patterson.
year? Patterson
Turned the lights
had a
off.
little scare.
No, he's had a number of those incidences. I mean, Le Pivert and Wilkinson were on their way of upsetting the #1 team into the country, and Le Pivert cut up his hand, and the match basically turned on that moment.
40-15.
40-15.
Players, good sports, all good friends as well. That's a tough one.
What a
Great dig
catch.
again. So quick.
You have to have a highlight reel of just Casey Watts gets in this match.
Doing a great job keeping that ball alive. You know, we've talked about in the past, you know, many of the great teams are terrific diggers. They keep the point going until they get a good opportunity.
How did that
Oh,
miss him,
that.
Lisa?
Oh, we caught him
getting
going
that one.
backwards.
That's just
Wow.
tremendous
Game.
paddle.
Royal
Great
Parsons.
play in there.
All
La
around.
Pivert, Watt lead the second set. 4-2.
So a replay of one of the many amazing points we've seen.
Can't remember which one we're watching here. There were so many in that game.
See how they set their paddles low and dig underneath it. That's a great get.
Duck
Doesn't
and
run
cover.
into the net. Okay, back to live
Back.
action. Watts serving 4-2.
It's a great volley by
Great
Max.
volley there.
15
Great
love.
anticipation.
Brad, are you surprised they're letting Le Pivert stay at the net with the soft serve? Would you take a couple of shots at the net man, try and hit him in the chest?
Once in a while, yeah, but you run the risk of overhitting it. But I absolutely would. You know, the funny thing, people get obsessed about the serve in platform tennis. The soft serve is not bad, but it is a little bit dangerous for the net guy.
15 all.
So I think taking a strike there once in a while is a good idea.
I mean, they're allowing Le Pivert to kind of roam freely as opposed to taking a real crack at him, which would slow him down a little bit.
Been going around him.
right. It's a big moment here, I think, for Le Pivert Watt. They got up that 4-love lead. Few little donations there. Errors crept into Arraya and Parsons' game. Those errors are drying up. Play's improving. Gonna have to make sure they play good, tight, solid points here.
As opposed to that.
30.
It's interesting. They haven't had a lot of success with Le Pivert on the ad court. I'm not sure why they're switching with him.
Great low ball there,
15,
Arraya.
40.
It's
No
interesting.
pace.
Similar to what we saw Durant Parsons play. You see Arraya Parsons spending 80% of the match at the net.
Wow.
That is not easy.
No, Araya's half volleys are incredibly good.
Well, that one game, turn it around.
Well, it's like we talked about. You play that loose
Yeah.
game
Right.
the wrong way, and all of a sudden momentum shifts.
Viking Athletics is the premier brand and undisputed leader in platform tennis. Viking is platform tennis, the official paddle of the APTA and engineered to provide superior feel and the perfect balance of power, control, spin, and durability. The Viking paddle is the official paddle of the APTA, of the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of course, of the APTA Grand Prix Tour. So Brad, what do they have to do to kind of stop the engine?
Well, you know, they got there in part due to some of the errors from Arraya and Parsons, but they also played some tremendous points where their choices were just right on the money. When to move forward, when to move back. Now, without those few errors, they're going to have to really dial it back and make the moves at the right time. When you have your opponent backing up and out of position, then make your forays to the net.
Especially at this point where we lost 3 in a row.
Right. Well, it's the only offense we've really seen from Le Pivert and Watt. You know, oftentimes you see a team with a backcourt player driving the ball solid, hard, or taking a strike. We haven't seen Le Pivert and Watt hit. How many hard balls or drives have they hit from the
Maybe
backcourt?
half a dozen.
Yeah, not even maybe. Like, that's one. And he got it stuffed right back at him. Great volley by Arraya.
15 all.
Now, that could be their tactic, but, you know, the only way they're getting their offense is with the move forward to the net. So you got to pick that right. But you're dancing with the devil with a guy with great hands like Arraya up there.
Like that?
Yep.
30,
And now he's starting to
15.
dominate up there.
Yeah, the success they had was when Le Pivert was taking the ball early, stepping into the court, and hitting that block lob, had them off balance, and they've gotten away from that. When you see Parsons standing behind the service line,
Great ball.
40, 15.
giving Arraya space to hit the overheads.
Yeah, Parsons is well practiced at getting out of way for a partner here to cut overhead. He spent years almost perfecting the ability to move to the side. There are times he'd be on the side almost by the door while Durant was hitting back during their partnership. Great forehand from Arraya.
Burstoy Savlovich, Frazier Lofgren
Game,
have split
Arroyo
sets.
Parsons. Games are 4 all in the second set.
Well, those 4 games went fast. They
Sure
didn't. It
did.
all started with that really poor game Max Le Pivert played at 4-love.
Right?
Now you see Arraya just dominating, dictating. He's playing these off-pace balls, but Arraya's all over it.
15.
But that's exactly what you were talking about earlier, Brad, right? That just feeds into it in the transition game. That's a ball Le Pivert could have lobbed, gone back onto the backcourt.
Oh.
Oh! This misfire.
You can see where the pace of play is, again, very quick and benefiting Arraya Parsons.
Like a tentative serve.
Dialing in on these overheads now. He's really working them over there.
30.
Casey Watson, the washing machine. It's just tumbling and tumbling.
Brad, you've played Juan Arraya, haven't you, in your...
Yeah, a number of times.
Yeah. Those spin overheads keeps you so on your heels.
Well, the ability to attack and up there, I've played a number of matches with him where, you know, the match is whatever it is, 7-6, 6-4, 7-5, 6-4, and then the difference in the match is the spin over. He's hit 10 winners, you know, or moved you all over the place in a way that you weren't able to do to him.
Right.
And
15-40.
it's a game changer.
Well, his play the last 20 minutes has been spectacular, hasn't it?
He's taken over the match right now. But it's like he got an energy boost from that 4-1 game, and all of a sudden, he's right on the net. Every ball they're driving, he's right there before they hit it, and he's stuffing the volleys back at him. You know, there is an adage that you don't want to hit a drive if you don't know where your opponents are or what to expect from them. And at this point in time, when, you know, Pivert Water driving off the back screen on these balls that are just in the margin, they don't know where Arraya is, and at this point he's been all over the net, and he's killing them.
Great forehand from Parsons there, catches him off the net. That's 5 consecutive games. And Parsons, I guess Arraya will serve for the match.
They want to keep this pace of play up.
The Pivert doing a little bit of stretching. That's when you got to wonder if they're a little tight, a little stiff from that long first match.
I think that last volley looked a little tired by Watt.
Yeah, I got cut off the net for no apparent reason.
Right.
And this game has to be, I would say, error-free from Watt and Pivert. They cannot give them any looks. They got to play so solid right now.
Why do you think they're switching in the backcourt, Brad, to put Pivert on the ad side?
You know, I think at this point in time, Arraya does about twice the damage into the ad court with his overhead. So they may be just giving, you know, Watt a break over there. And oftentimes, just for a different look, just to change it up. Good overhead. There it is. Perfect.
15 love.
Wow,
great.
couldn't
Keeping
find
them
that
off balance.
first 4 games, and he's just absolutely dominated the last 5.
It's like he was showing him how to do it.
Oh, yeah,
So
a little
little
pose
of
for the camera.
Yeah.
So little of his paddle actually contacted the ball. There's a big backhand from Casey
I
Watt.
haven't seen many of those.
It was the lack of Watt backhands,
15,
his
30.
passivity, or of his opponents just done a really good job of preventing him from hitting that shot.
It's a game plan too. He's chosen not to hit them when there've been some balls up there. But I think you're right. I think he's just not getting the looks he wants.
Well, he wasn't successful in the first set. He did a couple of them as well, and he wasn't so successful.
Such good hands up there. Great fake by Watt, but still nothing really gained because of the great ability of Parsons back there to drive that ball from the backcourt. They're going to an eye now. Yeah, if I were Parsons, I'd let Arraya dominate the net too.
Arraya Parsons switching in the backcourt.
This is a very crucial point for Le Pivert Watt being up 30-15.
Oh!
15-40.
Taste of his own medicine.
It was a taste of his own medicine. You see Arraya trying to mix it up in the half volley game, and Watt up to the task to cut her winner.
$40.
I like how they're approaching it. Error free, keep it tight. You gotta make these guys win the game. It's so hard to put it away in paddle.
Big shout out to Anna Maria Zabori, who's watching in Europe. You see Anna Maria back at Chicago Charities. $15.40. Chance to get back on serve.
Oh, just missed it. Great call.
30-40.
Great call from Arraya.
Parsons hit one of those earlier when the match was going wide. Learn from his mistakes.
Very reliable serve, Arraya. One of the more reliable serves on the tour.
I was thinking back to last year at Charities when he and Nationals when he and Morneau had that amazing match with Le Pivert and Watt. And he just threw in a bunch of serves like that on match point.
Match point down, you mean?
Yeah, match point down.
There's that switch again. Oh.
The ball crawled over the net.
But definitely, you know, you're seeing more lob mistakes out of Watt than you are out of Le Pivert. Oh, and there is the great
Game,
job.
Le Pivert Watt. Game start 5-all. Second set.
So here are the back-to-back spin shots to end points.
See how that ball bites into the screen. Keeps you so off balance. Here it
Here
comes.
it is from Arraya.
Gosh, look at that.
Okay, Watt to serve,
To
5
be able
all.
to do that.
Oh,
misses that one.
15
Two
love.
cutters. You know, you give it, then you take it away. As you said, the contact window is so tiny on these shots, you're bound to make a few errors. Called out.
Correction. Ball was good.
Oh, huge overrule.
I'd like to see a replay on that.
Boy, a lot of the players have been very unhappy with the umpire's overrule. It's been interesting to see.
Well, he's
Yes, I did.
seemingly certain it
We
was
see
out.
that one again, Kelly?
Yeah, I'd like to see that again.
We're going to take a look
Back
at that.
view angle.
Get our Hawkeye.
I saw the ball good.
That's a huge
That's a crucial
point.
overrule
That
at a
is
very crucial
huge
time.
Point. Umpire doing his job, calling it as he sees
15
it. but
all.
See how Le Pivert and Watt react to that.
Oh,
boy.
no.
15-30.
All right. pick yourself back up. Sometimes they don't go your way. Great catch.
From Watt.
What percentage of overheads do you think Parsons is taking today?
10, maybe. 5.
But again, they're doing a really good job taking the ball off the deck.
Oh, what a shot by Watt! What
That's a
hands!
great shot.
So creating
great
movement at
transition
the
ball.
net by taking that ball early and hitting those block lobs.
They both asked me at the same time.
30 all.
Wow.
30-40.
Shot at the crease. Nice get there by Watt.
Oh, great volley.
So good at
Hold
holding
that.
the ball.
I think you're right. I think Watt's a little tired over there. I think it's a good change-up to put Lebevé in that backcourt.
On the backhand side.
Backhand side, yes.
See, I don't like the lobs when they're letting the ball hit the back wires because they're giving Arraya Parsons a chance to set up and hit the overheads. To me, their best success has been the block lobs off the deck.
Oh, don't reach for that one. Huge
Such a
break.
Game
instinct.
Arraya Parsons.
So
They
again,
lead the second set,
when they're letting the
6
ball
games
get to the
5.
wires, you see the lobs are giving them more time to set up, and Arraya's able to hit the cut and speed up play. Okay, Parsons will serve for the match as they have their second opportunity to close it out.
You know, I hope they're not thinking about that call.
I
because
think
it's
they
a
are.
one-point game. They just got to do their business now. It's got to become like a past memory.
We don't have a good view of that ball, so we don't have a replay to show everybody. But I will say the person who had the best view of it was clearly the umpire.
15.
You're saying he has a better view of it than the players?
From up top, yeah.
Yeah, up top is a great view.
You like it up there?
I do actually
You're a
like it up
penthouse
there.
kinda
Oh, what a shot from
Love
there.
30.
Wow.
Burstoy Savlovich up 2-1 in the third on Fraser Lofgren.
See a little of these matches out of the corner of the eye. They made some adjustments.
Wow.
15-30.
Hey, it's like a difference maker in the matches.
He's had to hit about 12, 13.
How different, too. Head on the
deck.
bounce. Don't see him.
Acting it.
Why would you have expected that?
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected. Arraya is capable of anything. He's incredible talent.
And by anything, you mean sometimes good, and
And
sometimes not so
bad,
good?
Correct. Arraya just stands right up there. So confident in his volley.
He's feeling it.
I don't know where Max Pivert was going there.
Oh, great dig.
There's this.
Oh, tough get.
Great coverage.
Boy, 4 tremendous athletes.
Arraya still pulling the string over there. He's making these guys work with great digs.
And this is the classic I formation, Brad.
Yep. Arraya at the net, Parsons in the backcourt. Great pace. And then he finally, after 20
40.
digs, goes for one too many and makes the error. Great job by Pivert and Watt.
15-40.
Oh!
Game.
Okay, this has
Lob
gotten
Pivert,
exciting.
Watt.
We'll play a tiebreak.
Tiebreaker.
This set.
Pivert and Watt have to put each point really solid, really tight.
He's in his tennis mode.
Maybe in France they play them that way.
That's in and out. And when it is so.
And to your point, Pivert basically pushed the ball in the box since hit it through, but laid it off the wire. As you were saying, serve is such an overrated shot in the box.
We don't talk about temperature enough, too. It's a big difference. The warmer it is, not super warm today, but still not in the 20s or anything. So it's 52 degrees out there. That ball's going to come off the wire. You're going to get looks off there. There's no reason not to let the ball go through into the wire and take a drive. It's a great tactic. Wow, great volley by Arraya.
His paddles just in such perfect position.
I think that's Spanish for out.
1-1.
A little bit of fatigue, as Lisa pointed out earlier. Start to see errors like that creep in.
Bob.
Lobs.
Yep.
Again, that looked like a tired move by Watt.
You were saying to me earlier, Brad, that Jim Kaufman says you shouldn't miss a lob the whole tournament.
Makes you do push-ups.
Oh, I can't. Oh my God.
Great
Gets
play.
it. Wow, I thought they were out of that point.
Casey Watson never out of the point.
Oh, such
I
good
realized
hands
this.
there by Max and Arraya. Nice Pivert there.
Redberg Lefevre through, 6-4 in the third.
Wow.
Spectacular
3-1.
play. What
When
a
Arraya
dig from
gets
Casey
going.
Watt. That ball looked like it was completely dead.
Oh boy.
Wow.
The Getting
They
beat in
have
transition now.
beaten transition so many
transition.
times.
Well, in that case there, it's a bad play for Le Pivert and White. You got Max already up, and then you got, Watt hitting a three-quarter face volley, and, Arraya just pushes it through the middle. Makes no sense. They got to have somebody back to cover that ball.
Arraya used to have a rule when he played against Durant that any time Durant hit the ball through, you had to go back and lob it. You couldn't drive the ball. Because Johan was so great in those transition points, as we saw right there.
And that's what happened in the women's final today as well. Same thing, a caught in transition. They drove the ball, and
4-2.
was right there to finish it off.
Well, they just won a point in transition there, so a nice volley.
And this is the point right here in the tiebreak that's going to determine things.
Smart play to hit that up there. Great dipper from Arraya. This is where Arraya's at his best. Smart play by Le Pivert to just go back. Arraya at his best when he's moving forward and getting into a volley exchange.
Wow, that was a great play by Le Pivert.
Incredible anticipation. Just takes it down up over it, blocks it into the open court. Huge point there. All right, creeping back, 3-4.
I think Juan's hit about 95% of the shots today, not just the overheads.
Oh, what a great pickup there. All players have amazing hands.
But Le Pivert and Watt have done a tremendous job of competing. Obviously in their earlier win and in this match, just not going away, hanging in there.
Watt is known to be a fighter and a grinder out there. He'll keep playing. So is Le Pivert.
Great anticipation by Arraya.
Good stuff.
Oh, just amazing play. Fun to watch, isn't it, guys? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes,
It is.
Sorry, I was
We're
mesmerized
watching.
by the
What a shot from Arraya!
Oh my God.
Were you saying hello to Arraya so he could hit that cutter? That was
Wow.
on cue. It was an amazing point.
Wow. What's the score? I've lost.
5-3.
5-3.
Arraya Parsons. Boy, that was just wonderful play from all four men.
Great play. Incredible.
Sorry we
cutter
didn't
there.
answer you, Mark. We were
Thought you guys
we
had
were
left.
entranced.
Oh,
Wow,
and
that's a
back
great
in
drive.
there.
Reaching as well.
Oh,
You made that.
smash. But gained nothing. Comes off the screen.
But it felt good.
That was the right play. Might be able to get it into their body, but so quick. Very close to
Great
that.
get by Mark Parsons. Oh.
Killer.
Tremendous play. 6-3 in the breaker. That takes us to triple match point.
It's a tough point to lose.
That's a great point. Just missed that volley. One
So
more
Fraser
ball.
Lofgren
6-3.
won in 3 sets. Nope, didn't win in 3 sets. We have a medical timeout going on for Fraser Lofgren in the 3rd set.
All right. That is a 10-minute medical timeout. Oh!
You think he did that on purpose?
I think it was designed.
Oh,
There it is.
That's tough.
Boy,
Tiebreaker,
Pivert Watt look
Arraya
absolutely
Parsons win.
exhausted.
They do.
6-1, 7-6.
So game, set, and match. Arraya Parsons 6-1, 7-6. That was a lot of fun, guys.
Oh, it was a great second set. They really righted the ship, and it was a tremendous match, but there's more action to come.
Let's take a look at the draw. Okay, so we see Arraya Parsons through to the quarterfinals, where they'll play Durant Mitchell, who, after we stopped watching, apparently played wonderfully well as they won 12 of the last 14 games.
6-2, 6-love. Impressive.
Wow.
So our last quarterfinalist waiting for us, the winner of the Borostoy-Savlovich match against Fraser Lofgren. And as I mentioned, they're in an injury timeout there.
And we should mention here Rose and Rose with an upset over the second seeds, Bosterman Lubau, 7-6, 6-1. So they got Grangero and Wilkinson there up in the other quarterfinal in the top half.
So we're waiting for Jerry Vian, and she's going to have an interview with our winners in just a moment. Brad, any other thoughts on the match?
That was a great match. I mean, we look forward to more great matches to come. But I love Watt and Le Pivert's fight. You know, they fought out the whole way. Didn't quite. I wouldn't say they had their A+ game, but it's also sublime to watch some of Arraya's net play up there. He just dominates the match.
Okay, we're going to throw it down to Jerry Vian with an interview with our winners.
Wow, that was unbelievable. It was so great to watch. How much fun was it to play?
It was really fun. With these guys, when he's on, when he starts hitting the ball, it's so much fun. I can move at the net freely, and I just love playing that way. So I'm looking forward to playing with him a lot more matches.
Talk us through that match. I mean, it was not a routine match. There was a lot of stuff happening.
No, they came out and actually gave us a lot of errors in the first set, which we, thankfully they did, because they're a team that doesn't usually give you errors. And then they tightened it up in the second set, and we had to start playing a little slower. I had to start rolling a few more balls to get balls to go to Juan so that he could spin them, and spin them he did.
And Juan, you make new team, so you're making adjustments. You're on the deuce side. How's that going?
Well, I thought I would never be able to play on that side. I always play the ad, and then last year I did play the first, I think, 5 tournaments. I play on the deuce, and with different partners, and won a lot of those tournaments. So I don't mind. I think that I still don't have the mindset to play on that side. It's more like a setup role, and I'm still too crazy on the court. I like to be the aggressive player, but with his aggressive shots, I can take a step back and let him do his things on the backcourt. But today we actually happened to switch a few times on the backcourt during the points. I think that I actually return better on the deuce, so I don't mind returning from here. But then during the point, it's good to give the teams different looks and hit a few amazing inside-out backhands from the deuce side. I think that we have to do that formation more often.
Listen, we have a highlight reel that is just chock full, so we're going to go in and sort through to pick a shot. Favorite shot of the match?
Oh, wow.
I know.
I the one that he hit that bounced back into the net that Max jumped over the net. I mean, that's just the one that happened recently, so it's fresh in my mind, but that was kind of cool.
No, seriously, we've got 25 highlight shots. Well done. It was really entertaining. The crowd loved it. Everybody's screaming, oohing and ahhing. Good luck in the quarterfinals.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.